that this is not going to be some overhyped or gimmicky list of tips and tricks. This is my honest perspective of how you can get your foot in the door in the field of data science. Hi there, I'm Parveen and welcome back to my channel Exploring Me. I'm a data scientist by profession and I use this channel to explore different aspects of my life, both professionally and personally. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on how you can sort of get your foot in the door in the field of data science, specifically talking about how you can guarantee yourself an interview. I want to put this disclaimer out there right at the beginning that this is not going to be some overhyped or gimmicky list of tips and tricks. This is my honest perspective of how you can get your foot in the door in the field of data science. Moving into that, I want to focus on the background or sort of the mindset that you should come into actually applying jobs. There's two considerations that I think you need to keep in mind. The first being keeping an open mind, and the second being figuring out exactly what types of skills you want to practice as a data scientist. So what do I mean by keeping an open mind? I think it's important to remember that data science is a really big umbrella term these days. It's also very vague. What could be a data scientist in one company could be an analyst or a data engineer in a different company. So I think you need to keep an open mind and be maybe less attached to the actual title of data scientist. I know that that term can come with some sort of prestige or some type of clout in certain circles, but I think it should be more important to be actually practicing the type of data science that you're interested in. You could have the title of data scientist, but actually be working on setting up databases on the back end, and sorry if that's what you're interested in practicing, but I don't think that's what a lot of data scientists or people who are looking to get into data science are interested in doing full-time. Might be a little bit of that on the side, but really keep in mind that the title might not be the exact thing that you're after. Kind of along those same lines is figuring out what type of data scientist you actually want to be. Because the term is so umbrella and vague, a lot of companies will define it a little interestingly. So I think you really have to go through job postings and actually look at what the day-to-day of the job is going to be. And if you have the opportunity to, actually talking to the hiring manager and asking what types of projects this data science role is going to be working on. I think that if you are interested in doing a lot of analysis, or if you're interested in doing a lot of machine learning or visualization, the data science jobs are going to look a little bit differently, might be titled a little bit differently. So you definitely want to keep that in mind and not limit yourself to only applying to those roles that are defined as a data scientist, because again, that might not even be what you're interested in doing. So now that you've actually narrowed it down to the type of data scientist you want to be, you have an open mind about what that role might actually look like within the company, it's actually time to get down and apply. I think what a lot of especially new folks who are coming into the field will do, and this is probably true for any field, is sort of cold applying. I don't know if that's actually a term, but kind of like cold calling, but cold applying. I don't think that's the best way that you can go about getting a job in really any field, but maybe even more so in a data science field. I don't know what the exact statistics is, but I remember when I was applying for positions back in university during co-op, one of our co-op instructors told us that for every 10 applications that we put out there, we can expect to hear back for one interview. And that wasn't even really cold applying, because we were applying to jobs and employers that had specifically posted to a candidate pool of co-op students that they knew were really vetted. So even in that case, I'm sure that the statistics are even more skewed. Even in my own experience, just working these last few years, I've seen that a lot of roles are really put out to internally, as well as those that have a network with the internal folks on the team. That's kind of where folks start to actually look for applicants. And then probably almost as a last resort are things posted online. Or they might even be posted online, but people are searching more so within their internal resources than hiring from a completely external source. I think that brings me to my main tip, or the tip, of how you can guarantee yourself an interview: networking. I know some of you might be inclined to completely click off the video because that's not what folks like to hear. What I see online is that people are sort of offering how you can gimmick the system or trick the system into getting a job, but I think the truth is that networking is the best way you can get a job. So why does networking work? I think you can sit back and even consider it for yourself. If someone were to give you a call and ask you for a favor and they're a complete stranger, I guess it depends how nice of a person you are, but you're probably less inclined to give them the time of day. Whereas if someone calls you and says, hey, I'm friends with so and so that you know, and I need this favor, do you mind helping me out? You're probably much more inclined to at least hear them out and see if you can do the favor that they're interested in. I think the same thing applies to networking when you're looking for a job. Here, when I'm talking about getting your foot in the door, obviously I'm focusing on the interview. I'm not actually talking about how you can get through the interview process. I'm going to assume that you have the right skill sets and that you're able to sort of practice any type of tangible skills that might be asked of you for the interview process. But a lot of the time, when you're looking for the job, you're just looking to get your foot in the door, at least be able to showcase those skills that you do have, which really comes from even getting that first interview. Some folks with networking, they hear that term and it seems really scary. I'm not saying that you have to become best friends with every hiring manager and every project manager out there in the industry. I think it's really about creating a network or a group of folks that know the type of role that you're interested in. So if you don't have an established network right now, how can you go about building that? I think that in order to create a network, the first most important thing is to let everyone around you know that you're looking for a job and the type of job that you're interested in. You'd be surprised how many folks out there actually have connections, but if you don't put it out there, you'll just never know. The second would be some type of school messaging board. It might not be school, it might even be certain organizations. Maybe you did some online course. See if employers are targeting those students or those applicants. The third would be to actually reach out to people that you know. And I'm not talking about cold messaging people on LinkedIn, but if you see someone, sending them an email asking if there are any internal positions within their team that they're aware of. And the third would be attending community events and building connections. I think that a lot of the time when we hear networking, it seems like a really fancy term, like you're out there in like a tie and blazer and you're handing out your resume. There are those types of networking events, but it can be as casual as going to a lecture out there on some data science discovery or some type of lecture that's happening in your area. I know that right now, with the world the way that it is, a lot of things have shifted to online. I think the same holds true. What you're really trying to do is create a network of people that you could reach out to. It's like you've seen them at some type of community event or some type of hackathon, and you can kind of circle back to them and say, hey, met you at this event. I was interested in X company. Do you know of any positions that are hiring? I think that even if they don't know, they might know of someone. A lot of the interviews that I've actually had in my own career have come from a school messaging board. So everyone that I went to my master's with, there is a Slack page where people will post job postings, and I won't actually just click on that job posting and go ahead and apply through the company website. I'll actually reach out to the person who posted it and say, hey, I saw that you posted this job. I'm interested in applying. Do you know who the hiring manager is? Most of the time, if you have a somewhat positive relationship with that person, they'll be open to sending an email on your behalf so the person that they know can look out for your application. And this has served me pretty well. I've kind of been on both ends of the spectrum where I have done a lot of cold applying and also done some network applying, for lack of better term. Every time I have applied to a job through a networking connection, I have gotten the interview. Haven't necessarily gotten the job, but I've definitely got my foot in the door. And to be quite honest, I'm not someone who really enjoys sending out endless and endless emails. I know that you shouldn't get attached to each job that you apply to, but I definitely do. So I think with minimal applying in the realm of network applications, I've been able to secure all the jobs that I have worked on. I think that if you go down the route of cold applying, you're going to sort of have a lot of heartbreak and a lot of disappointment because you're going to be applying and not really hearing back. So if you can go out and do the extra work of networking with your community, I say extra work, but it really shouldn't be extra work, because if data science is the field that you're interested in, hopefully you're already seeking out those opportunities to talk to like-minded folks, help sort of advance your own thought on what the field is, gain new skills. So these are things that hopefully will not only help you get the job through network applications, but also sort of build that community that you can continuously learn from as a professional. So to sum it up, I think that there isn't a secret that I can tell you to applying for data science roles. There isn't some magical thing I can give you. It really is about putting in the time and immersing yourself in the field so that others around you can know that you're actually interested in these types of roles, and then sort of leveraging those community connections to apply. I think that when you are looking for the jobs that you're actually interested, like I mentioned at the beginning, keep an open mind. What data science might be on paper might look different in every industry, in every company. So really narrow down what you're actually interested in doing. I don't think you should be sending out hundreds and hundreds of blanket resumes for everything that has the word data in it. Work a little bit more intentionally. I forget what that phrase is, but work smarter, not harder. I think that that will really serve you well in your job application. If you have any questions on this or any data science related questions that you might have, please leave them in the comments below. In an upcoming video, I hope to be answering your questions. I have a lot of candid conversations with y'all over on Instagram as well as in the comments, so I hope to make a video on all of the questions that have been coming my way in an upcoming video. But other than that, if you enjoyed my content, I hope you'll consider sticking around and subscribing. And until next time.